Thanks for coming in, Marilyn. Just have a seat right here.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So I'm Sinead. It's nice to meet you.
I'm Marilyn Margolin. It's very nice to meet you.
I understand that you're interested in the position of manager.
That's correct.
Awesome. We're hiring. We definitely need one. But before we make any decisions, we want to go over some questions, make sure you're a good fit. For us, leadership is a very important quality. But as times change, so do leadership styles. What do you know about leadership, and what style or styles do you think are most effective?
I've had past experience in previous jobs as both a leader and a follower. I think this helps me to understand where both sides are coming from.
Mm-hmm.
The follower, I feel, in my perspective, is just as important as the leader. This is the basis of your organization. In the past, I've worked for employees that had it's called a Theory X management approach, and this would deal with a top-bottom style where the owner, the manager, was actually controlling everything. They would think that the employees or the workers were inherently lazy, and that they could only be motivated through a rewards punishment
but
type of system.
You would recommend a different type of system.
I would.
Okay.
I would recommend McGregor's Theory Y, which would be the opposite of what I explained to you. It would be a bottom-up theory where the followers would actually be involved in the process. This was actually a new concept that came out in the 60s. This deals with motivating the employees through responsibility and empowerment, where they would provide feedback and become a part of the organization to help them be and this would motivate them to actually do their job because they're part of it. Yes.
That makes sense. So, what about, you know a lot about leadership styles, but what are your strengths as a leader?
That's an interesting question, Sinead. In my past job, we had issues, so I wanted to develop my strengths, try to deal with my weaknesses so that I could fix what I could do as a leader and promote positive work in the organization. I took a survey, and then I had my followers take the survey. This was called the LPI. It was a learning practice inventory by Kozis and Posner. They deal with it developed feedback for me where the transformational leadership, which is where the followers are involved, what I was explaining to you, it dealt with 5 different principles, which were modeling the way, inspiring a shared vision, challenging the process, challenging the heart, and enabling others to act. This showed my strengths and my weaknesses. My strengths actually came out, Sinead, as I was very good at modeling the way, encouraging the heart, and enabling others to act. So I was able to listen.
Well, that's really important.
Yes.
So it seems like you've been talking to me a little bit about problems that you had in the past at your old job.
That's correct.
How would you handle a situation as a leader where there's no structure and the employees are not satisfied in their current positions?
I had to deal with this in a past structure where the previous manager was a Theory X type of manager. There was no shared vision, and the shared vision would be a vision that was created by a leader, and the followers would actually buy into the shared vision. And through this, they would motivate. They would become part of the problem solving. It would be like a collective problem solving,
more inclusive
where they are involved. And it was non-existent in the job. It was. I feel that by incorporating a Theory Y type style of management, I think that you would be able to
help create structure.
Yes, definitely help create structure. And I also found that the past manager would say something and then his actions would be different. As a leader, I feel that
follow through is super
to follow
important.
through, there's a theory that's actually called the espoused and theories in use. The espoused theory would be if I said something, I should also incorporate the theories in use, which would provide an action follow through with what I said.
Okay.
I think this is really important.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Follow through is super important here for us too. It's a great way to help solve problems.
I agree.
So speaking of problem solving, what types of problem solving approaches would you use or avoid using as a manager at this restaurant?
When you mention that, I think of Peter Senge's book, The Fifth Discipline, where he practiced a theory called organizational learning. He feels that every follower is a part of the organization. Without that one piece of the puzzle, the organization cannot function
without
as
the
a
missing
whole.
link.
Right.
Okay.
So I think that this is important, and without that missing link, I think it's detrimental, and it could cause failure. There's actually, it's called loop learning. There's single loop learning, double and triple loop learning. Are you aware of those?
No, could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I definitely. I feel that in my past theory, X-type style management, there was a lot of single loop learning, which was more of deliberate thinking. I'm just trying to solve the problem at hand without actually solving the complete.
Creating a symptom instead of
right.
Instead
of what the problem is. I would be more geared towards a double or triple loop learning. The double loop learning is more of a directed reasoning where you would be able to have a...
So you're more direct in solving the problem at hand instead of treating the symptoms with
yes.
double loop. Okay.
And in a triple loop actually goes farther than that to create a big picture of the learning, which would require getting feedback.
Okay.
I like the LPI that I took to get a big picture of everything that was going on and solve the problems so that you're not just putting a Band-Aid on one thing to
that
fix
makes sense.
it.
That's super important. So then I just have one more question before we end. What do you think is the most important characteristic of an exemplary leader?
I think an exemplary leader needs to be versatile, adaptable, because as you were talking about, that times are changing. That we're in a more technological world. It's advancing so quickly. I think it's so important as an exemplary leader to be adaptable. And I also think of Senge when it comes to this, because he would talk about how important the part is as a whole, creating a shared vision as we spoke before, and developing feedback so that you can know your strengths and weaknesses, be able to adapt to the situation, and incorporate the workers to have a good team where everybody was working together and they would create solutions in a more productive, shared way.
Yeah, that's
with a theory-wide, the organizational learning that I spoke of before.
Okay, that's awesome. So you see the exemplary leader as being theory-wide based. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, it was really great talking to you. I don't have any more questions unless you have something for me.
No.
Okay.
Thank
well,
you
great.
very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. That should be fine, right?
Yes.